Everyone, welcome to the kitchen. So one of the recipes I'm going to be demonstrating is a wonderful seasoning mix, and I was just about to have some hard-boiled eggs and I was out of this seasoning mix, and I thought I'm just going to make some and I'll show you how I do it. So this is one of the things I love to put on vegetables. Again, I put it on my hard-boiled eggs, and it's super mineral dense. It's loaded with antioxidants. And the thing is, with our seasonings, you don't need a lot of them for to give you those nutritional benefits that you can reap from them. So they're there to add life and vitality to your food. And I consider them booster foods. So herbs, spices, things like that. So you don't need a lot of them to get those health benefits. So this one is one that I learned from one of my teachers, Rosemary Gladstar, who was an elder in the nutrition or the herbal world. So I got this recipe from her. So, and these are all ingredients you should be able to find in your local store. Some of these herbs I harvested and grew in my garden. So if you're a gardener, these are really easy to grow as well. So the first thing I'm going to do, it calls for toasted sesame seeds. So I put the sesame seeds in here already. The recipe, when you find it, is going to be in parts, which means that it's not going to say 3 teaspoons of something. It will say 3 parts of something. This allows you to make a larger batch or a smaller batch, so depending on how much you want to make. So the first thing I'm going to do is toast my sesame seeds. So I got them here, and it's in a dry pan. Okay, there's no oil, nothing like that. I'm going to grab a bamboo spoon, and I'm just going to cook them on low heat. Okay, this is a nice thing about gas, is that you can have a lot of control over your heat. So you don't want to leave them go too long. I'm just going to put it on like a 2 is what I have it on. I'm going to let that cook. You don't want to burn your seeds, and there's a lot of oil in sesame seeds, so they could go, they can burn quickly, so you want to be careful of that. You just want to cook them until they're slightly brown, and usually what I use for knowing if they're done is my nose. So if I can smell them, you'll start to smell the difference. And then we want to let them cool off, because again, the amount of oil that are in the seeds themselves, they can make them sticky, and we're also going to be grinding this mix up. So I'm going to keep stirring, and actually I'm just going to shake it, as you can see, kind of shake it as I go. It doesn't usually take very long for them to brown. Okay, the most important thing is you just don't want them to burn. Okay, and I'm just going to let that go. I turned it up just a little bit between a 2 and a 3. Okay, I'm just going to watch that as we go, and I'm going to continue with the other ingredients. The other next ingredient is thyme. Okay, and again, this I grew in my garden, and it calls for, so I did 3 parts of I did 3 parts of toasted sesame seeds, and this calls for 1 part of thyme. Okay, and again, at the end, we're going to grind this up in a coffee grinder. 3 cups or 3 parts of basil, dried basil. And I'm putting this just in a jar that I recycled from another product. I'm not really sure what it was. I think it was honey. And the next one is oregano. And it's a half a part of oregano. I'm just going to do a half a teaspoon there. And then I'm going to check on my seeds. Oh yeah, I'm starting to smell them. Okay, but I want them to be a little bit golden brown. So I'm just going to really be careful there. The next one is marjoram. So marjoram, if you don't, this isn't something most people typically have in their spice cabinet or seasoning cabinet. So if you don't have marjoram, you can just add the equal amount in oregano. Oregano and marjoram are very similar. Marjoram is just a little bit sweeter, and I think that looks good. I'll let that go. So you'll be able to see. There we go. See how they're a little bit brown there? I'm just going to let them cool off a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah. And because my pan is hot, they're still continuing to brown a little bit. So be careful of that. And if you have an electric stove, it'll probably go faster. So be careful. So we had the marjoram. And then a half a part of garlic powder. Be careful not to overdo it with your garlic powder. Sometimes it can make things be too strong. Got the toasted sesame seeds. We're going to leave that. We're going to let them cool off a little bit. And then 1 part of nutritional yeast. So again, like I said, all of these spices are what I consider booster foods. Nutritional yeast is definitely one of them. You can get it usually in the store. Bragg's will be the brand you'll probably find. And nutritional yeast is amazing. So it's really high in B vitamins. It's really good for anyone to include in your diet if they're a vegetarian. Because it includes, because that's usually where we get our B vitamins from, is from meat. So it's great for that. It's really delicious additive. Okay. And then black pepper to taste, and cayenne if you want to add it. So I'm just going to give a few turns here to my black pepper. Okay. I'm not sure how much I went, and a little bit of cayenne. And this I had chilies from our garden, and then I dried them. So I'm just going to add a little bit there. All right. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to wait to add that to this mix. I'm going to grab out my coffee grinder. I have a coffee grinder that I have dedicated strictly for spices in the kitchen. So I don't use it for coffee. They're very inexpensive usually, and it's great to have. I grind my flaxseed in this because when you buy flax, you should always buy it whole and then grind it yourself. So I use flaxseed usually on top of my yogurt, or you can put it in a lot of different things. So it's great to have. Okay. And I'm just going to plug it in over here. You can see that. And then we're going to actually I'm going to plug it in over here. I'll plug it in on this side. Got a lot of stuff plugged in over here. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to add my seasoning mix. So you could leave this whole if you wanted, but I do like to grind it because we're going to be using the sesame seeds as well. So I'm going to add the spice mix. Added a little bit too much, so we're going to grind everything together. Add some of the sesame seeds. And you can do any kind of sesame seeds. You could do black sesame seeds. These were white sesame seeds. White are what you typically will find in the store. Okay. And you can grind it to as fine as you'd like. I'm going to actually put this in another dish. Because I still have stuff in my jar. Now, again, if you don't let the sesame seeds cool enough, they'll get kind of sticky. And that's kind of what's happening. I would have normally let this cool quite a bit. Okay, here we go. Another addition is you can add some seaweed to this mixture. Seaweed is an excellent booster as well. Okay, add this to my jar, and I'm going to add it right away to my eggs that I'm going to have. Now this is also another great seasoning, so it doesn't have salt. If you much. I didn't add salt to it. So I usually make this with dulse seaweed, so that has a little bit of salt in it. So you can add salt if you'd like, but I would use it sparingly at first and just try maybe like a half a part. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack open my hard-boiled eggs and enjoy it on there. So this is called the vitamin mineral seasoning mix, and I'll have the recipe for you as well. So enjoy.